We are on.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi. This is Chris with Nicole, and we're going to introduce Alex McMurray here in a second. But Nicole, this is our second season doing this, right?
We're back.
We're back. We did not
We're
get
back.
canceled. Even though Jazz Fest got canceled, we did not get canceled.
I canceled us last season.
You canceled us. All right. So this is season 2, episode 1. I've changed my mind. I'm not going to make any Neil Young jokes. I don't think those are going to go over very well. But I do see in my show notes that we need to talk about chickens.
Thank you.
So at some point we're going to talk about chickens.
I'm pro chicken.
Pro chicken.
I.
I think that, I'm just going to go along with the crowd. I'm pro chicken too. I am pro chicken.
I don't know if you should be, Chris. I think you should stay away from chickens.
You think I
Given
should
your
be
history.
anti-chicken? Yeah.
You just give
We're
chickens
setting up a chicken
wide,
debate.
a wide berth.
I'm an anti-chicker. Is that what it would be?
I just think it's just in your best interest to stay clear of big chicken.
Stay in my own tribe.
Yeah.
So we have a list of questions for you, Alex.
I've got answers.
You've got answers. We're going to jump right in. We don't do a formal introduction to our guests. We just assume because our audience is Threadheads, everyone knows who you are. But I will say you are one of my favorite musicians in New Orleans and in the country, not just New Orleans, and a wonderful songwriter and a wonderful human as well. So thank you for being on the show.
Nice to hear. Thanks, Chris.
Here we go. Question 1. You are originally from New Jersey.
Yep.
What brought you to New Orleans?
Tulane. Tulane gave me. Tulane was the only school that took me in and gave me money to go there. So that pretty much that was the whole thing. I didn't want to go to Tulane. I applied for some weird reason. I don't know why. It just seemed like a school I could get into, and then just the hand of fate swept in and brought me here.
What year was that?
1987. And I even tried to transfer out of Tulane. I hated the town. I hated the school. I hated it. I hated all of it. And I even tried to go to this other college that I got waitlisted, so they didn't have any money for me. So, and then I just kind of got I've been stuck here ever since.
Had you been to New Orleans before you were there?
I had been. I did. I had been here once before with a do you guys know what a CYO is?
I don't.
Catholic Youth
Yeah, Catholic Youth Organization. I was in one of those. I was in so me and these two other sort of kids and the guy who was like the deacon or rector or whatever of the the church, and he ran the CYO. We all went to this thing in Biloxi for this national CYO conclave, and then the guy's name was Ray. He rented a car, and we skipped off and went to New Orleans one day, and we were I think I was 17. And, we were all drinking in bars and whatever, and Bourbon Street, et cetera. It was a Sunday. It was raining. I remember. I think it was in March. So it would have been 1986 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, but the town didn't make much of an impression that was favorable with me. It just seemed like kind of, it was Bourbon Street,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just seemed kind of grimy and down market,
Well, that's because that is, though, right?
Yeah,
it is sort of.
It was
grimy.
I don't know. It was, yeah. So anyway, I didn't know about I didn't know anything. I was an idiot kid, didn't know about, and I didn't know about that Fats Domino was from here. I didn't know.
Wait a minute, so Nicole, before we jump to the next question. So I'm just trying to do the math. You said you started Tulane in 87?
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing you at Jazz Fest with Royal Finger Bowl before you and I had ever met, of course. That had to be like sometime in the early mid 90s, right?
That would have been, I think No, it would have been, it would not have been before 1996,
Okay.
but I think probably even later, even 96, 97 or something. We got signed in, I don't know, 95, 96 or something. And we put out the first record, I think it was 97. So I think that like, since we were signed, we probably got on Jazz Fest just as a matter of course, but.
So that was the first Jazz Fest you played, was
No,
95?
I'd played there before with some, like these bands that I was in after college, Mike Ward and Reward. The band was called Theral. It was the guy Theral DeCluet, from the singer from Galactic, was the singer in that band, in the band that I was in. And the band was called Theral and Real Life. I think it was the first time I played at Jazz Fest I think it was 1993 with Theral and Theral and Real Life. And then same year, or maybe the year after, with Ben Hunter. I don't know if you know Ben Hunter. He's like a local reggae
I don't.
Mhm.
guy. I was in this reggae band for a few years. And we played at the Jazz Fest too. So I played there a couple times, 2 or 3 times before. So I've been playing out there since I think 93.
Almost 20 years. Wow. 30 years.
30. Yeah.
I'm not very good at
Yeah,
math.
that's 30.
Yeah.
Well, Chris and I are not very skilled interviewers, so we're gonna, and we didn't plan our questions very well, so we were going to speed ahead to the last few years and ask you about your Running Tuesday night broadcast.
Sure.
Yeah. We can just skip everything else.
Oh,
Go straight to the pandemic.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. Let's get
All
right
that
to
good
it.
stuff.
What's what people want to hear about is Mr. Tuesday Night,
Yeah, we do. That's all we want to hear about. How did it
Mr.
start?
Tuesday Night. How did the question is, like, we just want to talk about it, or you want to?
Yeah, that's the question. It's a statement. Talk
Mr.
about it.
Tuesday Night, what can I say? After when the lockdown happened so suddenly and with such finality, it was gigs just went to zero, obviously, and so a lot of people started doing online stuff, and I was kind of like, I don't know, but then I don't know. I just was like, I'll just screw it. I'll try it, and I saw a few people were out there doing it. And I thought Facebook, because I'd seen people doing Facebook Live, you'd see like on Facebook, it's like such and so is live now. So I thought it was just as easy as just you point your phone at yourself and then you do whatever. And then you're on Facebook Live. So I tried doing that, and we had terrible internet. I guess our internet speed was bad, and we couldn't get it going very well, and we're using my phone, and then it took several months of like refining, and we ended up using my wife's phone, which is a nicer phone, and let me take my hat off, and then we just whatever we dealt with the internet stuff. We paid Cox more money for more whatever flow. And eventually we tried different rooms in the house, according to like which had the fastest speed. And then we eventually settled it in the front room where the piano is and stuff, and so it's been every week since I think it was March 23rd or something of 2020. So I don't know the exact number, but I think hold on, I'll be right back.
This is where we should insert a commercial or something.
Yes.
Next week will be 98 straight weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you going to keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, until we get to epsilon and omega and whatever, and it just keeps going and going and going. When last summer, before Delta, it looked like when people were taking their masks off in the grocery store and stuff, and it looked like we were turning the corner. And I went on the Tuesday night and I said to everybody, hey, do we need to do this anymore? Can we just, because the gigs were starting up and people were starting to do stuff. It seemed like we had gotten over the hump, and everybody's like, no, keep doing it. It's fun, So I was like, okay, well, I'll do a few more weeks or a month or then we're over. And then Delta, and then, Omicron, and, it's just, I don't know. Now I don't see it ever stopping. So
I'm happy to hear that.
well, thanks for watching.
Wait, never stopping meaning COVID or your
Never-
Tuesday
never
night
stopping.
shows?
Never stopping. Well, I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess somebody told me that, the flu is like a descendant of the 1919 flu that went crazy on the world.
Right.
So that like this, it'll never go away.
I think
For
that's
the
probably...
record, I meant Mr. Tuesday Night Broadcasts. I did not mean pandemic.
That's what I mean too. The Tuesday night, and I don't know. It's like it is. I mean, you can't beat the commute. The food is great, and I love the accommodations. So I think we might, even in the future, it's a way to reach people that ordinarily you couldn't reach, and it's easy and it doesn't cost anything. You just, I mean, I got a nice microphone, and I got a little situation with a mixing board and all this stuff. So we try to make it sound as good as possible. But I think, I don't know, maybe I think we'll, I think I'll keep doing it for a while.
I want to ask you a question
I
that's
think
not
that,
on... Go ahead.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have one more thought. I think as fans, like the experience of tuning in, especially in the early couple months, was well, first of all, we were excited. Alex McMurray's doing a live stream. What's that going to be like? Like, is he going to tell stories? Like, obviously you're going to play music. And it was fun to see you get into the swing of things and, work out the kinks. But what I really loved aside from that was like in like the Facebook chat, I would see my friends and it was like, hey, what are you guys up to? Like we'd start chatting, like we were at a show or something, shooting the shit outside. So that was pretty cool too.
That's the thing that I wasn't expecting and turned out to be like the coolest thing about it is that, like, I mean, I'm up, it's just like a gig really, because I'm up there, people are talking to each other. And so there's like people that there's people that are like friends. And I've actually been there, like when sometimes there's like a terrestrial gig and people meet that have been like knowing each other on the Tuesday night chat thing, and they finally get to meet each other in person, kind of funny. So it's been a cool social scene. That's the coolest, byproduct of the whole thing.
I want to ask you a question that we didn't put on our list, COVID related. So we're going on 2 years or going into our third year. How is it different for you trying to write, or is that the same?
That is always just a question of the factors, in my life, which is like, who's home, how am I busy having to do other stuff, if I've got time and a little, just some peace and quiet, it's much easier to write. So since when everybody went back to school, my wife's a teacher and my kid's a student, so I've, during the week, I actually do have some unstructured time. So that makes that possible. So I've actually been, and I'm kind of spurty, so I had some good spurts over the last 2 years, and I've written a few songs, but I think it's, I think the whole thing has been kind of good for me because I'm not schlepping to gigs every night playing with other people all the time, like, and I guess Paul had kind of like retired, whatever, before. I mean, he had his whole physical thing, and I was working with him a lot before that. And so that went away. And then with lockdown, it's like, there's no Happy Talk gigs. There's no Shotzi gigs. There's no Debbie Davis gigs. It's just like, it's just my Tuesday night. And then like when things like the outdoor gigs started happening, I would maybe once in a while have a band gig of my band or just me and Glenn Hartman playing, So, and I did a lot of solo gigs when lockdown happened. I was working a lot in like standing on people's porches and in their driveways doing gigs because you couldn't hire a band because you couldn't have people standing next to each other. So, but you could get me and I could go and I could sing and play guitar. It was like, okay, it's a band, you know, a guy singing and playing, and it's like, it's by the book. There's nobody standing next to each other. So that was, you know, I was positioned very well for that. But so I'm not like, you know, I'm not like tired from being out late and, you know, yelling my head off, you know, the night before.
Nicole, I'm going to give you the next question because I've been jabbering here, but I do have one thing more off script here. Is your dance card filling up for Jazz Fest?
Not really, no, because you know, I mean, I guess there's like the festival shows. There's, you know, Paul's and mine and the Spencer thing, and there's some, you know, 007 I think is going to play at the Patry. You know, it's looking like we will.
Oh, that's a scoop.
And you know, I think that's going to happen. You know, so but we're trying to do it like a nighttime. But like by now that like I'm looking for gigs, the gigs are all gone. You know, a lot of them are. You know, so it's like, so, and I, you know, I don't know, I don't see Paul doing a lot of nighttime stuff, and I don't see like Happy Talk Band is, you know, by the time Luke gets together to get gigs, they're all going to be gone.
Tin Men, anything Tin Men related?
Tin Men, we don't work a lot of Jazz Fest, you know, because we do our regular Wednesday, but then that goes to the Iguanas every year, and so they usually put us on at DBA like on some afternoon, and we're not playing at the fairgrounds, so we'll do that one gig. That'll be it.
Got it.
Somebody out there needs to want a Tin Men gig. This is just ridiculous.
Right, you know, we're available.
All right.
I know, like, but of course, you know, I mean, like Perrine is, you know, extremely busy during Jazz Fest, you know, and so, you know, it's, you know, so we, you know, the Tin Men, we just kind of do, our thing is like doing our weekly gig, and then we do our like, you know, side stuff on the weekends and like weddings and special events and weird shit that we travel to. And we're, you know, we're not like, our ambition is not to headline Tipitina's, you know, I don't think. At least I hope the other guys don't feel that way, and I just fucked up. And
when they listen to this, then
they'll know. I know Chaz is, as soon as this comes out, he's going to sit right down and like, and you know, he's going to have his notebook and he's going to write it. Wow, it's in minute 36. You said something about Tipitina's. You don't want to play Tipitina's with
that fucking asshole. God damn it.
So, but you know, that band has a certain, you know, we've been playing for 20 years, and it's like, we play all the time because we have like this sort of, like, you know, I was reading my kid the other night, like about flamingos, you know, the bird, and they, you know, they live in these weird hostile environments. They get like real heavy scales on their legs and stuff. They can live in like poisonous water, and they're adapted to this because they eat shit that nobody else wants. You know? They eat, like, they put their head and they eat like funky shit that, like, you know, so they always got plenty to eat. Well, that's like the Tin Men. We eat shit nobody else wants.
That's a great marketing slogan.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know, I worked at the zoo for a ton of years when I was younger, and I was an animal educator there, and it was amazing. It was a great job. And I always just told the kids that flamingos eat shrimp, and that's what makes them pink. But it sounds like I should not have been entrusted with educating children. I got it wrong.
No, it's
tell them about the Tin Men. That's all you need to do.
There's like 5 different kinds of flamingos too. I'd have to get the magazine.
I feel like there's a song in here that's gonna come out of this.
Maybe so.
Flamingo Road.
Yeah.
Something
Go
like
ahead.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up.
No, it's fine. I was getting you back on track since you just jumped around our terrible rough plan.
I know.
What's your involvement? Tell us about your involvement with the Threadheads.
Well, I mean, Threadheads financed my second record, the Cannonball record. That was back in, I think, 2009 or something. So
Something like
that's,
that, yeah.
yeah, it's a while ago, you know. And that was, I guess, around the time that I started, you know, playing with Paul, you know. And so I guess it was through Paul. I guess it all kind of started with Paul in a way. And so I was looking to make a record, and I was like, oh, people can give me some money, sure. And so that was a real leg up, you know. And of course the Threadheads did, you know, the whole 9 Lives, you know, thing that, you know, I was involved with that, and we've, you know, always were playing like at the Patry or people's parties, and like, you know, like the whole, and you know, Ken Cryer is, you know, sort of, you know, we're kind of like joining the hip in a way. You know, it's so so the Threadheads as individuals and as an organization, you know, have been, you know, omnipresent since, you know, for the last 13 years or whatever.
Did the Threadheads work on your project? I'm blanking on, I'm so embarrassed, I don't remember his name. Just the two of you, and it was like old songs.
Oh, Frelick, me and Jonathan Frelick.
Yes, yes, yeah.
The Tom Paines, no, I don't think so.
I can't remember.
Well, you know, hold on. I'll be right back.
We need some
This
background
is really,
music for time
well,
like this.
yeah, this is where if any sponsors are watching, we would be happy to promote your product for a very, very
Talking Threadheads is brought to you by Louisiana Music Factory. Buy all your music.
Cox
Sorry,
Cable.
I thought if I could find one of those records, I could look on the record, but I've got a drawer full of CDs, and I don't have one in that drawer. I don't think that it was Threadheads, but I might be wrong, because I think that what happened is like Mark Bingham just fronted us the time, and we kind of paid him back after, you know, after the fact. So I'm not sure if we needed money or. That project was a while ago. That recording was a long time ago now.
So now I'm understanding, Nicole, why you wrote this question about 007. So you've played a few Patrys in different groups. What is 007? How is that different than your other projects?
Well, it's a cover band for one thing, and it's, you know, and people like it. That makes it different, and you know, people go to it and dance, which is weird for me.
Who else is in the band?
Well, the guy who kind of who started the thing is a guy named Jeffrey Clemens, and he was for many, many years the drummer in the G Love and Special Sauce band, and he's not touring with them anymore. I think he does fly dates with them now, not once in a while, but he's not on the road anymore. He's living in, and Jeffrey lived here in New Orleans for years. He lived about 20 years or something, and until Katrina, he had finally bought a house like 3 weeks before Katrina, and his house was right behind the fairgrounds on Dessay, and so he got, you know, about this much water, but it was enough you had to get the place. And so he's, instead of getting involved with that, he just sold the place and got out of town. So he's been living in Nashville since Katrina. So that band kind of, you know, it was a band we played, you know, a bunch when the schedules were aligned, but now it's maybe once or twice a year, you know. And so that's Jeffrey and Jonathan Frelick, who, you know, is one of my oldest friends, and he is the main composer for the New Orleans Klezmer All Stars, as well as a lot of his far out jazz stuff that he does. And Joe Cabral, one of the leaders of the Iguanas, he plays he plays bajo sexto and saxophone with the Iguanas, but he plays bass with 007. and
Got it.
sings.
So-
My head's getting cold again. It's cold.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I've been dying to know. Were you aware that sea shanties were a thing during the pandemic?
People were, alluding to it and like, oh, on TikTok, I even signed up for TikTok,
Yeah, me.
and well, there was, because there's a lot, it was newsworthy. So people were sending me, what it was is people were sending me like links to like New York Times article or whatever, or it wasn't New York Times. It was probably like In Touch magazine article on,
The
sea
latest
shanties.
craze.
The kids are into, and so, it didn't, I mean, the song that they all were singing, it's like, I'd never heard of that song, I mean, I think it is an actual sea shanty, but
So,
the Weller Man
sea
song.
shanties.
It's like,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, come on.
But I think what the cool thing about the whole thing was that, like, I guess on TikTok you can like sing your part on top of everybody else's part, so it's like it was a collaborative thing, I think, which I thought was really hip.
So I'm guessing your sea shanty group won't be employing TikTok as a platform for now. So can you tell us about Valparaiso, what the heck it is?
Well, it's we are the world's only second line sea shanty organization, I guess. We have like 20 guys or so that come and sing, and most of them are not musicians. A lot of them are, but some of them are like, we got some lawyers and a dentist, and we have stuff like that.
We're going to talk to the dentist after this.
Yeah, the dentist is.
Yeah.
You know who he is. Right?
He's coming on. We're interviewing him in about 15 minutes.
Okay, well, he'll tell you all
My
about
alarm
it.
just went off telling me that we're going to talk to him. Is it as fun as it looks?
It's really fun. It can be really fun. Yeah, I mean, it can be transcendent if it's all goes right. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's kind of scary, but once it gets rolling, it's really something.
So do you have any things you want to tell people who are listening or watching this, or will be listening or watching, about upcoming albums?
Wash your fucking hands. And and cover your mouth
chickens.
when you sneeze.
Yeah.
And get your shots and do all that and come out and do all the stuff you're supposed to do. And hopefully
no new albums coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on my record's about ready to get mixed, so I got a new record coming out.
Will it be out by Jazz Fest?
I don't know. Hopefully, it's yeah, who knows? If you once you say my record's gonna be done for Jazz Fest, that's that's when you start losing sleep, so I'm not gonna play that game.
But it'll be out this year. That's safe to say.
Sometime, and it'll be available for whoever's interested.
Yeah, good.
And the Tin Men just started up in the studio too, so we'll have something. Neat. Hopefully, we'll have something by the end of the year.
That's great.
Yeah,
that sounds good. All right, well, thank you so much for your time, Alex. This is fun.
Thank you, guys. I'm sorry I was so late. I'm a terrible interviewee.
I just had to hang out with Chris, and you should apologize for that.
Yeah, that's rough.
We do have one more thing to cover. That we didn't really talk that much or enough about the chickens.
Chickens.
Never enough.
What about the chickens?
I don't know. Nicole, do we have any specific questions about that, or?
No, I don't have any. Unfortunately, I'm just a chicken appreciator. It also connects back to when I worked at the zoo. I took care of chickens, and they were enchanting. That's all.
All right.
Chris doesn't like it when I talk about myself, so.
No, actually, I do. It makes for good comedy, so yeah.
Yeah, it can.
Alex, thanks for
No
jumping
problem.
on this.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's great. I will not see you in 3 months. I'm not going to be at Genesis this year. I'm doing parenting duty, but
That's awesome.
but I will see you sometime this year.
Okay, cool. Well, nice to see you guys, and
All right.
good luck.
All right,
All
Alex.
right. Thanks a
Thanks.
lot.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.